So we'll be starting off with the chapter 5, chapter number 5, averages. Averages can be called by three different names. The first one being mean, the second one being arithmetic mean, and the third one being average. So what happens when I talk about average? Average means, let's say that we have a few observations. We have a few observations, and when I say I need to find out the mean or the average of these observations, at that time I need to have the sum of observations divided by number of observations. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. For the entire chapter of averages, we need to just understand three concepts. The first one being assumption, assumption of mean. The second one being finding the center, and the third one being new entry or exit. Okay, the third one being new entry or exit. In the first concept of assuming the means, what we have to do is, let's assume that these are my marks which I scored in my class 12th boards. Okay, I had the subjects physics, chemistry, maths, computer science, and English. Okay, I scored 88 in physics, 62 in chemistry, and 80 in maths, 94 in computer science, and 95 in English. So instead of summing all of them up and dividing it by the total number of observations, which is equal to 5, so instead of having the sum of everything over here and dividing it by the number of observations, which is nothing but 5, I will assume I will assume a number which is lying somewhere in the middle, lying somewhere in the middle, and it is easy for me to calculate. Let me assume that 80 is my average, or 80 is the percentage of marks which I scored. So I need to find out the deviation from it now. Okay, I'm using a little heavy term, but I need to find out the deviations. And what do these deviations stand for? These deviations stand for the distance from the assumed average. Okay, they stand for the distance from the assumed average. So the assumed average is 80. The first one is giving me a plus 8. The second one is giving me a minus 18. The third one is giving me a 0. The fourth one is giving me a plus 14. And the fifth one is giving me a plus 15. Now, instead of having a little tough calculation, instead of proceeding with a tough calculation, I have a easy set of calculation with me, which is plus 8 minus 18 plus 14 plus 15 and 0. So my answer would be 80 plus or minus whatever net output comes out. The net output what I get from here is plus 8 and minus 18 make it minus 10. Minus 10 and plus 14 make it plus 4. Plus 4 and 15 make it 19. So this is 19, and I need to divide the 19 with 5. Okay, I need to divide 19 by 5. And just dividing the 19.5 would give me the answer 83.8, and this would be my final average, or the percentage of marks that I secured in my class 12th boards. Okay, I hope you understand. So there will be multiple questions where we would be using the assumption of mean concept. We'll try to find out a number which is close to almost everybody, so that we get a net deviation, and only that deviation is supposed to be divided by the total number of terms. This is how we can reach the average in a shorter period of time. All right. Then talking about finding the center. Okay. Talking about finding the center. Now, there can be situations. There can be situations in which the numbers are given in series. Let's say the number starts with 92, 93, 94, and 95. This is one series, and the second series is 97, 98, 99, 100, and 101. Okay, the number of terms in this series is even, and the number of terms in this series is odd. Now, if I need to find out the average of this series, where all the numbers are consecutive in nature, where all the numbers are consecutive in nature, so I quickly need to form a separating line. Okay, I quickly need to form a separating line. Here I can see the separating line. The terms on the left are equal in number with the terms on the right. Whatever terms I have with me, I need to split them apart. Okay, equally. I need to split them apart equally. If there is still a number lying in the center, if there is still a number lying in the center, then that number would become the average. If there is no number lying in the center, as in the case of the first example, there is no number lying in the center at that time, the corner extremes from where it was pulled apart, the corner extremes where it was pulled apart, I will take the average of these two numbers. Got it? I'll quickly help it out. Here in this example, it wasn't even, the total number of terms were even. So in the middle, I could not find even a single term. Here, if I try to break apart these five terms, I would be left with one number in the middle, which is 99. Okay, two terms to the left and two terms to the right. I would be left with a term that is 99. Now, with this term 99, I can easily say that 99 is the average. 99 is the average of this entire series. But here I cannot say because there is no central number available. There is no central number available. What do I actually have with me? I have 93 and 94 being the two extremities from where the split had occurred. Okay. So the average of 93 and 94, which is 93 plus 94 whole divided by 2, which is also equal to 93.5. This is going to be my average. This is going to be my average. So whenever we are in a situation where we have consecutive number of terms, we have consecutive terms, at that time you are asked to find an average. You are supposed to break them apart into two equal parts and find the central term. Okay, in some cases you will find the central term straight away, as we can see 99 over here, and in some cases you will have to go just one step further and find out 93 plus 94 upon 2, which is 93.5. Okay, I hope you are able to understand completely. And now this is a little hypothetical concept because you will find two examples of this available in the entire chapter that I'm going to teach. Let's assume that there were 20 students and all of them scored 60 marks as an average. Okay, there were 20 students, this is the number of students, and this is the average score that they got. All of them got 60 marks. Let's assume another student enters into the game, and now the average has increased to 62 marks. Okay, the average has increased by 2 marks. So what is the reason, or what was the score of the student who entered later? So this is the one student which has entered later, who has created all the difference. So in such a situation, I'm talking about new entry or new exit. There was an entry over here that signifies +1, and because of that entry there was an increment of +2. Now there can be situations where this +1 could be -1, this +1 can be -1 at any point, and similarly here this +2 can be -3. They can take up both positive and negative values depending on the situation of the question. There is a possibility that we had 21 students in the classroom and the topper left the class. Because of that, the entire average fell down. Okay, there is a good possibility because the topper left the class, the entire average fell down. So this can be also a position, this also can be a case. But here we had 20 students in the beginning, one new student entered, and because of him +2 was the increase in the average. Then tell me, what is the score of the new student who entered? So I'll use this +1, I'll use this arrow, multiply it by 62. I'll use this +2 and I'll multiply it with 20. So +1 multiplied by 62 plus 2 multiplied by 20. I'll solve these two first. Plus 1 and 62 is 62, and 2 into 20 is 40. This gives me the answer 102. This means that the new student scored 102 marks, which is why the entire average got inflated. Okay, the entire average got inflated by how many marks? The marks were 2. Okay, and what was the score of the new student? It was 102, 102. Okay, so these are the three centerpieces of average chapter that you have to learn. This one being the most important, the new entry or the new exit, because according to me, most of the questions will be solved by that. And secondly, then second comes finding the center. Whenever you find a question of consecutive numbers, you will always have to apply the concept of centers. Then also assumption of means. This is nothing but for faster calculations. For faster calculations. Okay. I hope I've made myself very clear. Moving ahead. The weekly earnings of shopkeeper in February 2024 are 21980, 20580, 2322380, and 22616 respectively. What is his average daily income in February? Okay, we are assuming that this is February 2024. Okay, in February 24 there are 28 days. Okay, I'm just quietly shying away from the fact and not even checking if it is a leap year or not. Okay, I'm not checking if it is a leap year. I'm just saying that there are 28 days, because this question would not be possible if this is not a leap year. It's going to take us 29 days, which is not valid according to our answer over here. Okay, so simply saying that 2024 is not a leap year, and I believe 2024 was not a leap year. Okay, it wasn't a leap year. So we have 28 days with us. I have 4 weeks in it. This is week 1, this is week 2, this is week 3, and this is week 4. In the first week, the total collection was 21980. In the second week, the collection was 20580. In the third week, it was 22380. And in the fourth week, it was 22616. Now, as we have all the numbers aligned, I'll quickly find out the first average. Okay, I'll quickly find out the first average. This is 6 here, this is 24, and then 25, 2 in carry, 11 plus 8 is 19, 19 plus 5 is 25, another 2 carry, 2, 3 is a 6, 6 plus 1, 7 here. Yeah, and this is 8. This is 87556. This is 87556. Now 87556 is my entire week's earning. Okay, it's my entire week's earning. Now if I have the entire week's earning, I need to find out the daily income that I have. I need to find out the daily income. So what I'll do, I'll pick up this entire week's earning, 87556, and divided by 7, which is the number of days in a week, and also divided by 4, which is the total number of weeks that we have. Okay, total number of days would be 28 over here. I'll quickly use 7. 7 ones are 7, 7 twos are 14, 7 fives are 35, 7 zeros are 0, and 7 eights are 56. I'll use 4 again. 4 ones are 4, 4 threes are 12, 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8, 4 sevens are 28. Yep. Did I commit a mistake? 4 threes are 12, 0, 4 ones are 4, 10, 4 twos are 8, 4 sevens are 28. Yep. So his average daily income for the month of February is 3,127 rupees. Got it? Pretty good. Yep. I think we are good. Moving to the next question. At a courier shop, the weight of 8 parcels was found to be this. And find out the average weight now. If you see the range from where is the highest package and from where is the smallest package, this is 0.4 and this is 1.5. This is the entire variation between the two packets. And talking about all the numbers which we have 3 of them surrounding 900, and one of them is actually 900. Okay, so through the options you can also find out what to assume. Okay, through the options itself you can find out what to assume. Here I would be assuming that 900 grams is the average weight of the package. Okay, 900 grams is the average weight, and this is nothing but an assumption. This is nothing but an assumption. I'll quickly use the deviation method which I talked about in the past. 900 grams against 1.5 makes it 600 grams plus 1.25 makes it 100, like 350 grams plus 1.35 make it 450 grams plus 750 grams make it 150 gram minus 950 grams make plus 50 grams. Zero point 0.7 makes it 0.7 makes it minus 200 grams, and zero point 0.4 makes it minus 500 grams, and zero point 0.5 makes it minus 400 grams. Okay, so I have everything in place. I have everything in place here. I'll quickly round things up and find out the average. I hope you've already understood that 900 is the standard average, is the assumed average which I'll have to write. Okay, there would be a plus or a minus depending on the calculation which comes out, and that calculation would be divided by 8 because 8 was the total number of parcels available, right? I'll quickly do it. um this is minus 900. Yep, this is minus 900, and this is plus 950, so there is a plus 50 left behind. If there's two plus 50s, this is minus 150, this becomes minus 50. Now I have minus 200, I have minus 200, minus 50, minus 250. Yeah, I have plus 400, minus 200, sorry, plus 450 minus 250. That would give me a plus 200. So plus 200 would be my output. Now 200 divided by 8 gives me 8 ones are 8, 8 2s are 16, and 8 fives are 25. Sorry, 8 fives are 40. So I'll get 925 as my answer. Okay. Had we had we had we taken a sum of all of them, it would have taken us much longer because it was a little difficult to add all of them up immediately. So it's better to use the deviation method. Start with the assumption, find out the deviations, and you're on with the answer. Okay, you're done with the answer. 925 is the answer. Moving ahead. Now, I've already talked about the concept of finding the missing assumption, okay, or the new entry or new exit. So let me see if I can apply that over here. This is more of a simple unitary method based question, so that assumption thing would not help here, and even the new entry new exit will not help here. Why? Just see it. Okay, the average of three numbers is 15. Let's assume the three numbers are A, B, and C. The average of the second number, the average of these three numbers, I'll quickly put a plus sign between them and divide them by 3 and 15. This is the first one. The average of the second and the third, B plus C whole upon 2 is equal to 12.5. Okay. What is the first number? I quickly need to find out the value of the first number. B plus C upon 2. This 2 would go here and it would multiply. B plus C is equal to 25. I'll use this B plus C and put it over here. I'll quickly write A plus 25 whole upon 3 is equal to 15. This 3 would go here. Quickly follow the cross multiplication rule. A plus 25 is equal to 45. So the value of A comes out to be 20. Okay. So what is the first number? According to our calculations which we did, the first number which was assumed to be A has a fresh value which is equal to 20. Okay. I hope we are good here. Moving on. Three boys, sorry for the bad throat. Three boys on an average are 25 years old and their ages are in the ratio 3 is to 5 is to 7. What is the age of the youngest boy? Okay, there are two routes that can be followed for this question. If I assume that there are three boys A, B, and C, and their ages are in the ratio 3 is to 5 is to 7, and I have a total age available as well. The total age which is available to me is 25 years old, and that is for three boys. So I can say that the sum of the ages is nothing but 75. How did I come to the conclusion of 75? Because 25 was the average of a plus b plus c whole upon 3. Okay, this is the average of a plus b plus c. If I wish to find out the sum of a plus b plus c, the 3 would go to the other side and get cross multiplied. This would give me a 75. Just because there was a sign of ratios between 3, 5 and 7, I would quickly put an x sign along with them so as to bring their value to absolute terms. We've talked about this multiple times in the concept of ratios. Okay, I'll put a plus sign. 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 plus 7 is 15. So the value of 15x is equal to 75, or simply the value of x is equal to 5. Okay, the value of x is equal to 5. Now it says I need to find out the age of the youngest boy. Okay, I need to find out the age of the youngest boy. What I'll do is 3x, which is the value of a, is basically the youngest boy. 3x, which is the value of a, is the youngest boy. Okay, this is the youngest one. I'll quickly use the value of x is equal to 5 and multiply it by 3. 3 into 5 is equal to 15, and 15 years old is my answer, which is the age of the youngest boy. The second way to follow it up is I have three ages of A, B, and C given as 3x, 5x, and 7x. Okay, using x so as to remove the ratio sign. 3x, 5x, and 7x. 3x plus 5x plus 7x gives me 15x. According to the question, the ratio of the sum of these three, the ratio of the sum or the average of the three ages is equal to 25 years. Okay, I hope you're able to understand what I have done. 15x is the sum of 3x plus 5x plus 7x upon 3 has been done so as to create the concept of average. And according to the question, I've picked up the value of average as 25 years. Okay, 3 ones are 3 fives are 5 when goes here and gives me a 5 here, and the value of x is nothing but 5 years. Similarly, in the question, when I check the youngest boy being 3x, I will multiply 3x. I'll multiply 3 on both sides, and the value of 3x comes out to be 15 years. Okay, so both my answers are correct. You can take both the routes. Okay, it all depends on you which route you wish to take. I would recommend go for the second one. Okay, because it is a little more mindful, it is a little more intelligent way of solving things, so it is better to pick up the second one. Okay, it's applicable to more places as compared to the first part. Okay, moving ahead now to find the number of observations. There can be a situation where average is equal to sum of observations divided by number of observations. Okay, so there is a possibility that it might ask us the average, it might ask us the sum, it might ask us the number of observations. So this is not much, this is just simple unitary maths, simple unitary method, unitary method which needs to be followed. Simple cross multiplication. I need to find out the one which is missing out of the three, and that will give me my answer. Okay, you'll understand when I solve the question. In an examination, the average marks of a student for paper were for paper, I would say, for the entire exam, for all the papers would be 71. Okay, this is the average. Okay, I'll quickly write it as average old. Okay, this is equal to 71. And because of a small increment of 35 marks in science, 11 marks in history, and 4 marks in computer science, his average per paper should have been 76x. It means that average new has become 76, has become 76. What is the reason of the increase in average? The reason of the increase in average is the increase in the marks. Okay, it is the increase in the marks. So what I'll do is I'll quickly find out what my new average has become. Let's assume the total number of subjects to be x. Okay, number of subjects is equal to x. So I can say that average old is equal to 71x and average new is equal to 76x. There is an increase of plus 5x. Okay, there is an increase of plus 5x, and the reason for this increase of plus 5x is because of newer marks or higher marks or the marks that he could have obtained. So what do I have with me? I have 35 plus 11 plus 4. 35 in science, 11 in history, and 4 in computer science. So if you add all of them up, the answer comes out to be 50. So I have a 50 with me. I already have a 50 with me. And if this 50 is the reason for the increase, then this 50 should be equal to 5x. This 50 should be equal to 5x. So I'll quickly take this 5 ones and 5 tens. So the value of x comes out to 10. In the beginning, I had assumed that the number of subjects is equal to x, and by the end of the question, I have reached a point where I can say the value of x is equal to 10. So, how many papers were there in the examination? There were 10, 10 papers in the examination, or there were 10 subjects in the examination. Okay, I hope I've made myself very clear. We find out what is the difference between the new and the old, the difference is available, then we find out the reason for the difference. The reason for the difference is that wishful thinking of how much more marks could have been scored, which gives you a plus 50, and this plus 50 ultimately leads you to a point where you find out the total number of papers or the total number of subjects, right? So I'll move on. Now there is a concept of calculating the average of odd numbers or even numbers and so on. Okay, I will not teach you like very difficult or different methods to find things out. I would rather tell you the base from the scratch. Let's say I have first 5 odd numbers. Okay. Odd number starts from 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. I need to find out the average of this. I need to find out the average of this. And they are starting from 1 and they are also consecutive in nature, plus they are natural. They are natural plus they are consecutive. So when you have natural and consecutive numbers available and you are supposed to find out the average and they are odd in nature, I'm not talking about the number of terms. I'm talking about the kind of numbers that they are. So they are odd in nature. So you can easily see that the central number is over here. Why can you see that the central number is here? Because on the left we have 2, on the right we have 2, and here is the central point. Okay, here is the central point. So I can easily say that the average is 5. If you see that I started with the point that I need to find out the average of first 5 odd numbers. Okay, when I say first 5 odd numbers, I get the average as 5. Had I done it for, let's say, first 7 odd numbers, I would have written down first 7 odd numbers at 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Okay, where am I? Yes, I have the first 7 odd numbers. I have the first 7 odd numbers. 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and 7 in the middle. 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and 7 in the middle. So I can say for the 7 odd numbers, the average is also equal to 7. So every time you're supposed to find out the average of n of the average of first n odd numbers, the average is going to be nothing but n itself. Okay, the average is going to be nothing but n itself. If I do it for even numbers, okay, let me do it for even numbers. First 5 even numbers, it starts by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Here, the average comes out to be 6 because it is a central number. So I can say for even numbers, the same value is n plus 1. Let me try it one more time with a bigger set of numbers. Let's say 8 even numbers. Let's say 8 even numbers. So it starts with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yeah, do we have 8? No. Now we have 8. I'll split it apart in two portions, 4 on the left and 4 on the right. There is nothing in the middle. So I'll have to find out the average of 18 of 10 and 8, which is equal to 18. 18 upon 2 would give me the answer, which is equal to 9. Here also, here also in the case of in even numbers which are consecutive in nature and are starting from the smallest even number, which is equal to 2, in that case the average comes out to be n plus 1. So I can easily bring down this conclusion. For the odd numbers, the first n average is equal to n, and for even numbers, the first n average is equal to n plus 1. Okay, the average is equal to n plus 1. I hope I've established myself very clearly of what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so these things are supposed to be memorized, these are supposed to be rote learned. Okay, moving to the next question. The question says, what is the average of the first 7 odd numbers? What is the average of the first 7 odd numbers? I can do it directly by saying the final answer is 7, but I'm like, I really would like to teach the ones who don't understand a lot of math. So for them, I'll solve it. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Do I have 7? Yes, I have 7 of them. 3 on the left, 3 on the right. The central number is 7. So this is my average. Okay. For the ones who don't understand the concept of the central number, I'll take you to the first slide. I'll take you to the first slide. Here, I talked about finding the center. Okay. Whenever you have numbers in consecutive series, you have to find a point where it splits apart into areas. Once it does, that is where you find your mean or find your average point. Right? So, moving back to my question. Yep. 7 is the answer. So it says the average of 4 consecutive odd numbers is 58. What is the lowest number? Firstly, I have 4 options over here and we are talking about odd numbers. So this 54 is not an odd number, so this is definitely not the answer. I need to find out the number which is the lowest in the series of consecutive numbers which are odd in nature. 58 came out to be the center of 4 consecutive odd numbers. If I have 4 consecutive odd numbers, this means 2 would be lower than this and 2 would be higher than this. The ones which are lower would be 56 and 54. Am I doing something wrong? Absolutely. I am doing a few things wrong. I need to find out the number which is lower than 58 and it is also an odd number. So the number which is lower than 58 is 57. It is odd and it is lower as well. 57 and then I'll have 55. What about the numbers higher than 58? I would start with 59 and then with 61. 59 and 61. So these are the 4 odd numbers and they are also consecutive in nature. I need to find out the lowest number out of the series. The lowest number out of the series seems to be 55, which is my final answer. Okay, so I'll move on. Now, average of consecutive odd numbers. I think we've already done it. Consecutive odd numbers, yeah. Average of first 10 odd numbers. Yeah, we've already done this concept. I'll quickly find it out. The average of 8 consecutive odd numbers is 48. Find the sum of the fifth and the seventh term. Okay, so This is 48, which is lying at the center. I have 8 consecutive odd numbers. So 4 terms would go on the left and 4 terms would go on the right. For 48, the lower one is 47, the higher one is 49. Similarly, I'll go down 4 more terms and I'll go up 4 more terms or 3 more terms. Okay. 47, 45, 43, 41. Again, 49, 40, no, this is 51, 49, 51, then higher takes it 53, and then higher takes it 55. So I have all the 8 consecutive numbers that I was looking for. This is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, and the eighth one. Find the sum of the fifth and the seventh term. The fifth one is 49 and the seventh one is 53. 49 twos is 98. 98 plus 4 would give me 102. So my answer is the sum of fifth and seventh, which is equal to 102. 102. Okay. I hope we are good enough. Let's move on. The average of the first 1, 2, 3 dash numbers is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. For the first dash numbers, it is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to fill in the blanks. Okay. I need to fill in the blanks. Here, I've already read. I've already read and also established this, that whenever we're talking about the average of the first n odd numbers, that value is equal to n. And for even numbers, that value is equal to n plus 1. So when n is matching up with n, when n is matching up with n, at that time, see, this is n, these are the first n numbers, it is also equal to the average. This means I'm talking about odd numbers. So for the first 1, 2, 3, 4 odd numbers, the average is also going to be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this was a conceptual question. Let me move on. The average of the first n even numbers. The average of the first n even numbers. Okay, I've already talked about it, that the average of the first n even numbers is equal to n plus 1. Okay, I've already talked about this, that the average is going to be n plus 1. Let me take it forward. Calculate the sum of this, and hence find out the average of the numbers. Calculate the sum and hence find out the average of the following numbers. If I quickly see how many terms do I have? I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, I have 6 of the terms. I need to find out the sum. I'll find out the sum later. I'll first find out the average. Average is done by splitting them into 2 equal parts. There are total 6 terms. The total number of terms are 6 in nature. So the average is going to be 6, 6 plus 1, 7. Or also the average of these two terms, which are terminals, the corner terminals. The value of 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Okay. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 7 is my answer. So I have the average with me. If I quickly need to find out the sum of the numbers, I'll multiply the average with the number of terms. The average with the number of terms. The average has come out to be 7. The total number of terms is equal to 6. So 7 into 6 is 42. Okay. 7 into 6 is 42. We're sitting at 42. Yep. Let's move on. What is the average of the first 50 positive even numbers? Okay. What is the average of the first 50 positive even numbers? We're talking also about the positive ones and also about the even ones. So the value, the answer is nothing but 50 plus 1 or 51. We've already read it. Okay. I taught you this concept over here. Yep. The concept is here. Even first n would be called n plus 1. Okay. Would be called n plus 1. So 50 plus 1 is 51, which is the answer. Right? So let's move on. Average of consecutive even numbers. Yeah. So these are not starting from 1. These are not the first consecutive even ones. So we'll apply the same concepts that we learned. Okay. The average of 8 consecutive even numbers is written in and which is written in ascending order is 17. It means that 17 is the middle number, four terms are on the left and four terms are on the right, and they are even numbers, so they're going to be 16, 14, 12, 10. Similarly, they are going to be 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, 18, 20, 22, 24. Written in ascending order 17. What is the average of the last three numbers and 36 and 53? Okay, I need to quickly find out the last three numbers. I've already found out the last three numbers. They are 20, 22, and 24. So 20, 22, and 24, and also 36 and 53. I'll quickly give them a sum. 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 15, 15, there's one carry, this is 8, 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 5 is 17, this is 175. And the total number of terms which I have is 5, 5 ones are 5, 5 3s are 15, 5 5s are 25. So 35 is the average that I'm looking at. Okay, 35 is the average that I'm looking at. I hope that's okay. I hope that is clear. Moving on. The average of 5 consecutive even numbers is A. If the next 5 even numbers are also included, then what is the average of these 10 numbers? Okay, I'll quickly do that. Let's say my number is A, and the difference, these are 5 consecutive even numbers. This means they would have a gap of 2 between them. So there is going to be A minus 2, there is going to be A minus 4. This is on the left hand side, and on the right hand side, I would have A plus 2 and A plus 4. Okay, and A is the average. A is the average that we're talking about. Now what I'll do is I will introduce the next 5 even numbers as well. The next 5 even numbers would look like A plus 6, A plus 8, A plus 10, A plus 12, and A plus 14. So these are the next 5 consecutive even numbers. Okay, now I need to find out the average of these even numbers with me. I need to find out the average of these even numbers with me. Now I have 10 terms. I have 10 terms, so they're going to be split apart in two equal areas. Two equal areas means 5 each, 5 on the left and 5 on the right. The ones which are 5 on the left are, the ones which are 5 on the left are these, and the ones which are 5 on the right are these. Now, I need to find out the average of these two consecutive terms. I need to find out the average of these two consecutive terms, A plus 4 and A plus 6. When you add them up, it makes up 2A plus 10, and I have to divide it by 2 so as to find out the average. So the average comes out to be A plus 5. So the new average of these 10 numbers is nothing but A plus 5. Okay, I hope I've gotten myself very clear. Moving on. Okay, the average of n consecutive natural numbers. See, what happens is whenever you have a sum of consecutive natural numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus so on till n, what actually happens is that you have to add all of them up and then divide it by the number of terms. But there is a special formula to find out the sum. The special formula to find out the sum is n multiplied by n plus 1 in brackets whole upon 2. This would give you the sum. Now, if an average needs to be found out, this sum, which is n multiplied by n plus 1 whole upon 2, has to be divided by the number of terms. Has to be divided by the number of terms. This would lead to the n getting cancelled. And the average would come out to be n plus 1 by 2. Okay? Average of consecutive natural numbers of n consecutive natural numbers is n plus 1 by 2. Right? Moving on. The average of a set of 18 consecutive integers is 22.5. It is 22.5. So if the center point is 22.5 and they were integers in nature, the one which I have over here, this is a decimal number. Okay, this can be represented in a fraction. I need integers, and these are consecutive integers. Consecutive integers means they are separated by one only. So the very next integer to 22.5 is 23. And how many more do I need? I need 9 of them over here. Similarly, on the left hand side, the consecutive integer is 22. The lower consecutive integer is 22. And how many more terms would there be? There would be 9 more terms. So I need to find out what is the largest integer in the set. What is the largest integer in the set? For that, I would have to go plus 1, and so on. How many times would I have to do that? I would have to do that 9 times. So the value of 23 plus 9 is my answer, which is equal to 42. Okay, 42 is the answer that I'm looking for. I hope I've made myself very clear to everybody. Moving on. What is the average of natural numbers from 1 to 73? Okay, I'm now counting from 1 to 73. In this slide, I talked about the average being n plus 1 by 2. I'll quickly use the same method. 73 plus 1 whole upon 2 makes it 74 upon 2, which is also equal to 37. Okay, simple answer is 37. I'll move on. Now, I'm talking about the average of square of x natural numbers. I have already talked about sum of n, which was denoted by n multiplied by n plus 1 whole upon 2. Talking about sum of n square being n multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1 whole divided by 6. Okay, this is a formula that we've talked about in numbers, in number systems as well, and maybe in ratios as well. Yep. So n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 is the sum of n square. What do I do about it? What do I do about it? I convert it into average of n square. And how do I do that? I divide the entire story by n, okay, multiplied by 1 by n. The n gets cancelled by n. What am I left behind with? I'm left behind with n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1 whole divided by 6. Okay, so this is what I'm left with. I hope I'm making myself very, very clear. Yep. So the average of squares of x natural numbers is this, where x can be simply replaced by n, right? X can be simply replaced by n. Moving on. The average of the square of the first 7 natural numbers. See how tough this can be. 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square plus 5 square plus 6 square plus 7 square. These are the first 7 natural numbers. This being 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, and 49. Then you have to add all of them up. Then you have to do more. So the easier version of it would be 7 plus 1 multiplied by 2 into 7 plus 1 whole divided by 6. This would give you 6 multiplied by 14 plus 1 is 15 whole divided by 6. This would give me what? This would give me 3 2s are 6 and 3 5s are 15. And the average comes out to be, 35 by 2, which is also equal to 17.5. Okay, the average comes out to be 35 by 2, and which is also equal to 17.5. I'll quickly check if we are doing it fine. These are 7 numbers which we have. This is equal to 20, This is equal to 20. Um, this is equal to 50. 20 plus 50 is 70. This is 95. 95 plus 30. What is it? 125. 125 plus 6 is 131. 131 plus 9 is 140. Is 140. Yeah. Why am I? Why is it wrong? Just let me check. Let me check. 2n plus 1. N plus 1 is 8. This was an error which I committed. N plus 1 is 8. Okay. N plus 1 is 8. So this is 2 ones are 2, 2 fours are 8, and 4 fives are 20. Okay. This was a blunder which I just committed. But it's good. You won't have to commit the same blunder again because I've already done it in the class. Okay. This gives me 20. This is not a way to save myself. It is a way to catch your attention. Okay. My teacher used to do that. Every time they used to solve a wrong question, they used to say, "We are just trying to catch your attention." So let us assume that I tried to catch your attention through this, and you're back into the game. Okay? Do not commit a similar error. I accept this mistake. And the mistake was not long. It was caught within, like, let's say 40 seconds. No, 40 is too much. 10 seconds. Right? Moving on. Average of cubes of n natural numbers. Okay, we've talked about sum. We know the sum of n. We know the sum of n square. Now I'll talk about sum of n cube. For the sum of n cube, the formula which comes into place, n into n plus 1 whole upon 2, and I would be squaring things up. Okay, I would be squaring things up. N into n plus 1 whole upon 2. Moving ahead, what is the average of the cubes of the first 7 natural numbers? First 7 natural numbers. What would be the average of the cubes of first 7 natural numbers? I'll quickly use the same formula. N, which is 7, multiplied by 7 plus 1 whole upon 2 whole squared. Okay, whole squared. So this is 7 into 8, which is 56, or 7 into 4, which is 28, because there's a 2 in the middle. Okay, 7 into 4 whole square. This is 28 square. To make the 28 square, 8 has to be squared in 64. 2 would be squared to 04. 2 8s are 16. 16 2s are 32. 320 would be added here. So 784 or 0784 is my answer. Okay. No, there is another mistake which I committed. This this thing over here was the sum. This thing over here was the sum. This entire thing, to be converted into averages, has to be has to be divided by n. Okay, so 1 by n comes into the picture. So I need to divide this entire equation by 1 by 7. So if I have 784 over here, which I declared as my final answer, it has to be divided by 7. Okay, 7 ones are 7, 7 ones are 7, 7 ones are 7, 7 twos are 14. So the final answer which I reach is 112. Okay, final answer which I reach is 112. I hope you're good. The answer is yes. When average of m numbers is x times and the next n numbers is y times, what actually happens? Okay, what actually happens? We have n numbers, the average is x. We have n numbers, the average is y. So the combined average, or also known as the weighted average, also known as the weighted average, this weighted average comes out to be mx plus ny whole upon m plus n. This is assumed that m and n are number of terms and x and y are averages. Okay, x and y are averages. So m into n, mx plus ny whole upon m plus n. Okay, moving on. The question says that the average of x occurring 5 times and y occurring 7 times is 37. And similarly, the average of x occurring 7 times and y occurring 5 times is 35. Find the value of y. So this is nothing but linear equation in two variables. Okay, 5 occurring x times plus 7 occurring y times, or y occurring 7 times, is equal to 37. Similarly, 7 occurring x times or x occurring 7 times and y occurring 5 times is nothing but 35. So through this equation, I need to find out the value of y. To eliminate x, I would have to multiply and multiply both of them, like cross multiply them by 7 and 5. What I would get out of it is that the x would get cancelled. Okay, this is the equation being multiplied by 5 and 7, and the minus sign would be introduced. Here 7 would be multiplied and here 5 would be multiplied. 7 sevens are 49y minus 5 fives are 25y. Okay, so 7 sevens are 49, 7 threes are 21, 259 minus 5 fives are 25, 5 threes are 15, 175. Okay, so 259 minus 175. I have 25, which is 75, and this is 84. This is 84, and this is 24y. Yep, I hope I'm not wrong. Absolutely not. 25 plus 59. Yep. Uh, 59. Yeah. 79, 89. No, 69, 79 plus 5. Yep. I'm good. 84. So the value of y comes out to be 84 upon 24. 6 fours are 24. 6 ones are 14s are. This is 2. This is 7. I get the value of y equals 3.5. Okay. I get the value of y equals 3.5. I hope I'm good. The answer is yes. Now, talking about the average of some number is 4.6. If 75% of the numbers are increased by 5.6 each and the rest are decreased by 8.4 each, then what is the average of the numbers so obtained? Okay, 75% of the numbers, let's assume that there were 100 numbers in total. Then there is a competition between 75% of the numbers and 25% of the numbers. Out of this, in a very easy and a parallel mode, I can say that the total number of terms was 4. Out of them, 3 were increased and 1 was decreased. 3 were increased and 1 was decreased. Okay, so what is the average of the numbers so obtained? 54.6 was where I started, so I'll assume that 54.6 is the average of 4 terms. The 3 terms are increased by 5.6 each, and 1 term is decreased by 8.4. The net effect of this transaction would be 3 6 are 18, 3 5 are 15, 16.8 in a plus, and minus 8.4 multiplied by 1. The net effect of this equation would come out to be plus 8.4. The net effect of this result would come out to be plus 8.4. And this plus 8.4 would be divided across all 4 parts, would be divided across all 4 parts, which is 8.4 upon 4. So the answer would be plus 2.1. The answer would be plus 2.1. This plus 2.1 would be acted upon 54.6. So 54.6 is here. Now there is a net positive effect, which is that of 7, and my final answer comes out to be 56.7. Okay, my final answer comes out to be 56.7. The only catch in the entire situation was this, where I assumed that all the numbers are 100%. 75% or a 3 or 3 by 4 of it was increased by 5.6, and 25% of them were decreased. So I could say that 3 portions were increased and 1 portion was decreased. For that particular reason, this is the plus portion and this is the minus portion. The net effect was recorded to be plus 8.4. This plus 8.4 would have to be dealt with by, would have to be, how should I say? Let's assume in a classroom, some students did very well and some students did really badly. So what happened was the ones who did well were more in number, and the ones who did badly or the ones who performed poorly was a little low in number. So the entire average of the class looked to be good. Why is that? Because, first of all, the number of students who did well was higher. Number two, the the ones who did well did exceptionally well, and the ones who did badly did not do as badly. So what happens is the net positive effect increases when the gap between the good scorers and the bad scorer increases. Also, the net gap or the entire average increases in the situation when the good scorers are much more in number. Okay, the good scorers are much more in number. You rather have many good scorers in the classroom as compared to a few very good scorers, because you will always be limited by the maximum marks that somebody can score, right? So it is always better to have a lot of students who do well so as to increase the entire average. Okay, just 5 or 10 good students cannot really bring a very significant change in the average of a classroom of 100 students. It's better to have 60 or 70 good number of students who are performing decently well. Okay, that is where the average will pick up. Got it? Got it? Moving on. So when there are x percent girls in the class or y percent y percent boys in class, this is almost similar to the ones to this concept which we talked about. Okay, weighted averages. Weighted averages. Moving to the question directly. There are 100 students in a class, and out of which 70% are girls and the rest are boys. That means there are 100 students, there are 70 girls. Okay, this is 70 girls, and there are 30 boys. The average score of girls in a test is 20 more than that of boys. Let's assume the boys scored 100 and the girls scored 120. This means till here we have satisfied all the conditions that have been mentioned. Okay, if the average score of all the students is 57, if the average score of all the students is 57, then what is the average score of boys? Okay, what is the average score of boys? Now I'll tell you a very interesting method to solve this question. Okay, a very interesting method to solve this question. If there are 30 boys, they scored 100 marks each. If there are 70 girls, they scored 120 marks each. The gap between the normal scorers and the better scorers was plus 20. And how many students actually created this gap? The 70 girls created this gap. The 70 girls created this gap. And this gap, which was created by 70 girls, it was shouldered, or this brought an overall nullifying effect. Do you understand when I say nullify effect? What I mean to say is this improved the class reputation, and that too for the entire classroom. So, how many students were there in the classroom? There were 100 students in the classroom. Okay, the effect or the good work of 70 girls gave benefit to the entire classroom, including boys. Okay, I hope you understand, including boys. So 100 was my base marks score, which was considered to be done by boys. A plus 20 extra effort, this plus 20 is an extra effort which was made by women, extra effort which was made by women, and the total number of girls who made this extra effort was 70, and this entire effect was nullified or equally distributed among the entire classroom. So from here I can say that this 100 plus 20 into 70 is 1400, 1400 upon 100 is 14. This comes out to be 114. This means this is the new average. But, but according to the question, the new average is 57. This means the value of 114 is equal to 57, and I need to find out the average score of boys. The average score of boys was assumed to be 100 marks. So if the value of 114 is 57, then the value of 100 would be 57 upon 114 multiplied by 100. 57 ones are 57 twos are 114, 2 ones are 250s are. So this gives me a value of 50 marks. Okay. This means the average score of all the boys. This means the average score of all the boys was 50 marks. Okay. So this is a new dimension to averages which I have taught. This is an entirely new dimension to averages which I have taught. Cool. Good enough. Moving on. The average score in a test for 50 students is 44. Out of the total students, 40% are girls and the rest are boys. So there are 50 total students, 40% are girls. That means there are 20 girls. 40% means 20 girls, and there are 30 boys. The average score of boys is 20 less than that of girls. Okay. So if girls scored 100, the boys scored 80. These are marks, and this is class strength or n. Okay, the number. Now, what is the average score of girls? We need to find out the value of n. We have already been given a value of 44, which is the average of both of them. So let us first find out the average of both of them. If 80 is my base score, there is an increment of 20 marks. There is an increment of 20 marks. This increment of 20 marks was brought in by 20 girls, and it was distributed among the entire classroom of 50 students. So this gets cancelled. 5 fours are 20, 4 twos are 8. This gives me a value of 88. Okay, this gives me a value of 88. So this means 88 is the average score according to our assumptions. 88 is the average score according to our assumptions, and the value of 88 is equal to 44 according to the question. Now I need to find out. Now I need to find out the average score of girls. The average score of girls is equal to 50, is equal to 100. So if the value of 88 is equal to 44, what would be the value of 100? 44 ones are 44 twos are 2 ones are 50s are. So my final answer comes out to be 50 again, right? I hope I've made myself very, very clear according to like according to the methods that I've been using. I hope I've made myself very, very clear. Yep, good enough. Let's move on. When ages of people in years before and years after is given, this is usually done with the help of unitary concept, but we'll still try to manage it. Okay. The average age of a man and his son is 55 years. Okay. Man plus son is equal to 55 years. The ratio of their ages is 7 is to 4 respectively. Okay. This was the average that we talked about. 7 is to 4 means 7x plus 4x. Okay. This would be something. So if the value of m plus x is equal to 55, the value of m plus s would be equal to 55 into 2, which is equal to 110. Okay. So this would come out to be 110. The value of 11x is equal to 110. 11 ones are 11 tens are. So the value of x is equal to 10. Okay. The value of x is equal to 10. What would be the ratio of their ages after 6 years? With the help of this x, with the help of this x, there was this first assumption which I forgot to take. the man being 7x and the son being 4x. Why did I take this assumption? The reason is that man is definitely going to be older than his son. Okay, that is why 7x is to 4x. If I have the value of x is equal to 10, I can easily say that 70 is the value of the man, and for the son, 40 is his age. Okay, 70 is the age and 40 is the age. What would be the ratio of their ages after 6 years? Okay, after 6 years. After 6 years, he'd be 76 years old, and after 6 years, they would be 46 years old. This would give me the value as 38, and this would give me the value as 23. So 38 is to 23 would be my ratio. Okay, this would be my ratio after 6 years. Okay, I hope I'm good. Moving on. I'll be changing the camera angle a bit. So I just hope you people are not really scared of seeing me from this close. Yep. Okay, let me move on. The camera will keep moving. Okay, wherever I move my head, this is going to move a little more. So do not get distracted or disturbed by this. Moving ahead. Average of class or students or teachers. I've already talked about it. The inclusion or exclusion concept, or the entry or the exit of some person, right? The entry or the exit of some person. The average age of 24 students in a class is 15 years. Okay. So there are 24 students and 15 years is the average. This is n and this is average, right? When the teacher's age is also included, what is the teacher's age? We need to find that out. The average is increasing by 1. That is why it is becoming 16. And the number of people in the classroom is also increasing by 1. Okay? So I have a plus 1 here and I have a plus 1 here. This plus 1 would be multiplied by 16 and this plus 1 would be multiplied by 24. Plus 1 into 16 is 16, and plus 4 into, sorry, plus 1 multiplied by 24 is plus 24. So from this, I can get out the value of 40, which is the reason of the jump in the averages, which is also equal to the teacher's age. Okay, this is the teacher's age. The teacher is 40 years old. All right, moving on. The average weight of 45 students of a school is 55 kgs. Okay, this is 45 students and 55 kgs was the weight. Okay, and average. If the weight of the teacher is included, the average weight rises by 500 grams. So this makes it 55.5, because we are talking about things in kgs. So there was a plus 1 here and there was a plus 0.5 here. I'll again use my arrows. Okay, this plus 1 would be multiplied by 55.5 and this plus zero point 0.5 would be multiplied by 45. Plus 1 into 55.5 gives me 55.5 itself, plus 0.5 multiplied by 45 gives me 22.5. This gives me 78 as my answer. Okay, this gives me 78 as my answer, right? Moving on. Average of matches. Okay, similar concept. We'll be using the same diagrams that we've been using. The average of batsmen in 16 innings is 36. In the next innings, he scores 70 runs. Okay, let's say in the 17th inning, he scored some more runs which were 17 in nature. So, what would be his new average? What would be his new average? Let's say there was an increase of plus x in the game, which became 36 plus x, right? And there was a plus 1. So this plus 1 would be multiplied by 36 plus x, and this plus x would be multiplied by 16, right? This plus x would be multiplied by 16. This is equal to the 70 runs which he scored on extra. Okay, this is equal to the 70 runs which which he scored in extra. This is nothing but 16x. So I have 17x with me plus 36, which is equal to 70. So the value of 17x is equal to 34, and the value of x comes out to be 2. Now it's asking what would be his new average. What would be his new average? His new average we had already assumed to be 36 plus x. This was average new. This was average new. So 36 plus 2, which is also equal to 38, is the new average that we are looking at. There is another way. There is another way of looking at it. What is the other way? The difference between 70 and 36 is equal to 34. The base value or the base average is going to remain the same, which is equal to 36. Now there is an increase in 36, and the increase is caused by the extra 34 runs. Okay, the increase is caused by the extra 34 runs. In how many innings were these 34 runs scored? They were scored in one inning. Okay, the total number of innings which led to the creation of 34 runs was one inning. So in this one inning, what happened? This this extra score which we received, this extra score which we received was equally distributed in all the innings that he has played, and the total number of innings that he has played is nothing but 17 till now. After the 16th inning, the next inning he's going to play is the 17th inning. So 36 plus 34 upon 17, this would also give me a 38. This method which I've talked about over here, this is a little conceptual method. It might be a little difficult for you to digest, but the one which I've talked about over here is the most standard method of solving it. Okay. Why did I put it as 70? Because in this equation, I brought out the reason. I brought out the reason of the increase in the average. And and the reason was the 70 runs which were scored in the last innings. Got it? Moving on. A batsman makes 96 runs in the 13th innings, and thus his average increased by 3. Find his average after the 13th innings. Okay, find out the average because after his 13th innings. Got it? So there were 12 innings already being played. There was a 13th inning that was played. The runs made in the 13th innings were 98. The average was X before, and his new average came out to be X plus 3. There was a plus 1 which happened, there was a plus 3 which happened. This 1 got multiplied here, and this plus 3 got multiplied here. So X plus 3 plus 12 into 3 is 36. The reason for this increase, the reason for this increase was 96 runs which were scored in the final 13th innings, right? So the value of x plus 39 comes out to be 96, and there is 39 over here. When I subtract both of them, I receive the answer as 7, and this is 8. When I have 8 and I subtract it away from 3, I get the value of 57. Yep, 57. So the value of x comes out to be 57. I need to find out the average after the 13th innings. That means x plus 3 needs to be found out. I already have x with me. I'll quickly do a plus 3 on both sides and get the value of x plus 3 equal to 60 and mark my final answer as 60. Okay? Okay? I hope I've made myself very clear. Moving on. Moving on. Now we're talking about the average of food in a hostel and the share of each person in a party. Okay, there is one question here and another question here, and there are now concepts of data of what went wrong, then talking about averages and yep, average of selected observations, easy, average of weighing together, deviation method, sorry, average of the first three numbers. I'm just quickly going through everything that has been taught, that will be taught. Okay, yep, basic concepts, other concepts, 12 grams lighter, simple ratios, again simple ratios. Yep, and that's how it ends. So let me talk about this. Let me talk about this. So we left at a point where the average of food in hostel or sharing of expenses was happening. Okay, so people used to come together, they used to eat, they used to pay, and they used to leave. Okay, so this was the concept. In such a concept, you have to see what is the thing that is making a big difference. Okay, you won't be able to understand the concept unless we solve a question. So there is no such example which I can give you right now. Let me quickly take you to the question, and the concept we'll be using would be this one. Okay, I'll take you to the first slide where we started things off. Yep. So here we started with an example of new entry or no or new entry or new exit. Okay, here we had a few numbers, the average, then the entry or the exit of the number, and because of that the change in the average. Okay, we'll be using the same concept throughout. This concept is the most universal, and according to me this concept is very very versatile. It can be used anywhere you want to. Okay, so it's better that you learn this concept by heart. Okay, I'll quickly take you to the question. Yep. So there were 1200 students in a hostel. If the number of students is increased by 300, then the expenses of the mess increase by rupees 5000 rupees per day, while the average expenditure per head diminishes by 5 rupees. Okay, the average expenditure per day diminishes by 5 rupees. What is the original expenditure of the mess? If I say this, that there were 1200 students in the mess in the beginning and 1500 students came to the picture, that means there was a there was an increase of plus 300. There was an increase of plus 300. When there were 1200 students at that time, the expenditure per head per day was X rupees, right? When the new or more students came in, the expenditure per head per day diminished by 5 rupees. So the gap created over here was that of minus 5. Now, when I use the arrow method to come out of what I'm talking about, or the arrow method to solve my question, that point leads to 5000 rupees. Okay, the reason behind using the arrow method takes you to the quantity which brought in the change, and the change that was brought in was the 5000 rupees was being spent on a daily basis. Got it? So plus 300 would be multiplied by x minus 5. It would be added, or let's say it would be added with minus 5 being multiplied by 1200, and this all would come up to form rupees 5000 rupees. Okay, so there is 300x minus 1500 minus 6000 is equal to 5000. So from here I have 7500 that goes and makes 12500, and it makes up 300x. The value of x comes out to be 125 upon 3. Now the question being asked is, the original expenditure of mess needs to be found out. If I wish to point out at the original expenditure, I can see that These were the number of students, and this was equal to the expenditure. So the original expenditure would be 1200 into 5, and the new expenditure would be 1500 into x minus 5. We already have the value of x available with us. Now we need to find out the value of 1200 multiplied by 125 divided by 3. So we'll do that. 3 ones are 3 fours are, we have 400. We have 400. This means this makes up to be 50,000 rupees. Yep. So 50,000 comes out as the original expenditure of the mess. A very similar question, we'll be doing it again. There were 75 students in a hostel. 15 more students got admitted to the hostel, which brought the new strength of the hostel to plus 90 or to 90. The daily expenditure of the mess was increased by 240 rupees. This is the effect. We'll see the cause. We'll see how this actually happened. While the average expenditure per head diminished by 5 rupees, this means if X was being used, X minus 5 was the next one. So there was a decrease in minus 5. There was a decrease in minus 5. What was the original expenditure of the mess? We have 15, we'll multiply it here. We have minus 5, we'll multiply it here. So we have 15x minus 75 minus 75 multiplied by, or let's say minus 75 multiplied by 5. I've already accommodated for the negative sign. Okay, I've already accommodated for the negative sign, and this thing all adds up to 240 rupees, which brought in the change. The reason is here on the left hand side, and the effect is over here. Okay, the effect is on the right hand side, the reason is on the left hand side. So I have 15x, and this should be into 6, and if 2 times make 150, 6 times would make 450. 450 would go on the right hand side, this would make it 690 on the right hand side. I have 15x is equal to 690. The value of x would come out to 15 4s are 60, 15 6 are 90. Okay, we have the value of x is equal to 46. Now what is the original expenditure of the mess? The original expenditure of the mess is equal to 75 times x. 75 times 46 would be my answer. If I'll use 40 over here, it will become 3000. Then I'll use 6 over here. 6 5s are 30, 6 7s are 42, 45, 450. This makes my total expense as 3450, which is final. Okay, 3450. This is the main deal. Okay, moving on. When changes or corrections are made, whenever changes or corrections are made, you have to tweak the data a little. You have to tweak the data a little, and I'll show you with the help of the questions how that scenario comes into play. Okay, let me quickly take you to the question. There are 12 wrestlers. Okay, there are 12 wrestlers. When one wrestler whose weight is 90 kg leaves the club, he is replaced by a new wrestler. And then the average weight of these 12 wrestlers increases by 0.75 or 0.75. What is the weight of the new wrestler who has joined the club? What is the weight of the new wrestler who has joined the club? So within 12 and 12 there is 0, and within x and x.75 we have an increase of 0.75. Let me do the cross. Let me do the cross. This cross is going to be equal to, this cross is going to be equal to 90 kgs, and that too the person has left. The person has left. Okay, let's assume what we get from here is 0, and when 0.75 is multiplied by 12, I get 9 kgs, and this 9 kgs is the effect, and minus 90 kgs was the person who left, or I should keep it as plus 90 as well, it doesn't really matter. This minus 9 kg would go on the right hand side and create a 99 kg. Some people might be getting confused over here, but the concept in my brain is very clear. The member has been replaced, and the new member has been kind enough to give us some extra weight. The extra weight was distributed among all the 12 wrestlers by giving each of them 0.75 kgs each. That means a total of 9 kg extra, which was brought in by the wrestler, was distributed among everybody. The 9 kg extra, which was brought in by the wrestler, was distributed among everybody. If the person who went out was already 90 kg, the new person who came in, first of all, replenished replenished everything that was taken away by the old wrestler, and the new wrestler brought in a few kgs extra, which was distributed among the 12 wrestlers, which finally made my game as 99 kg being the new wrestler's weight. New wrestler's weight. Okay, I hope you get it. I hope you get it very well. Moving on. The average weight of 15 people is increased by 3.2 kg when a new person uh, when when a new person comes in place of one of them weighing 52 kgs. What is the weight of the new person? Okay, 15 people are already there. A new person comes in place of one, that means there is a replacement. The number of people is going to remain the same. When a new person comes in place of one of them weighing 52 kgs, this means this was x, and the increase of 3.2. There is a game 0 being played here, and there is an increase of plus 3.2 happening. I'll quickly use the arrows. The arrow would go here, the arrow would go there, and this x would become 0, and plus 3.2 would be multiplied by 15. 15 multiplied by 3.2. 15 to the 30, 0, 3, 15 3 is 45, 45 plus 3 is 48. This means 48 kgs is the extra weight that is being brought in by the person. What was the person who was being replaced? He was 52 kgs already. That means firstly the 52 kgs would be replenished, then the extra 48 kgs would be spread among everybody. The 48 kgs would be spread among everybody. If it is equally distributed, the weight that was of the new person, it was 100 kgs, right? The weight was 100 kgs. So I hope you are good. This is done. When the average of the first starting five of the numbers and the last of them are given. Okay, so this, in such a situation, let's assume that there are 10 numbers that are given. Let's assume first six numbers are given and the last six numbers are given. Okay, the first six and the last six are given. The last six are given. During that time, we would see that there is an overlap. There is an overlap of the sixth number. Okay, this overlap of the sixth number needs to be caught, and it needs to be told of what the sixth number is. Okay, so we'll be solving it now. The average of six numbers is 3.52. Okay, the average of six numbers is 3.52. Two of them are 3.7, two of them are 2.5. Okay, these are six, these are two, these are two, and the remaining two, the average is x. What I'll do is I'll quickly use the simple multiplications. Okay, I'll use simple multiplications. 6 to the 12, because I haven't solved even a single question using the simple multiplications. I'll do that this time. Okay, 6 to the 12, 6 5 is 30 is 31, 6 3 is 18, 18 plus 3 is 21. 21.2 is the total weight of everybody. Now when 2 is multiplied over here, this is 4, 2 3 is 6 is 7, this is 7.4 kgs. Okay, I am creating a division line because this is for all and this is for two each, or for two couples. Okay, these are for two couples. This is 5.0 and this is 2x. Now if I add both of them separately, what I get is 12.4 plus 2x is equal to 21.12. So this is 12.40 which has come over here, and 2 would be ultimately divided. Okay, 2 would be ultimately divided. Now I have come down to 6.8.72, which is the value of 2x. I'll quickly divide it by 2 as well, which would give me the answer as 4.36. So the average of the ones which are remaining behind is 4.36. Okay, it is 4.36. All right, good enough. Yep, moving on. The average marks of 13 students is 67. If the average marks of the first 7 students is 61 and the average marks of the last 7 students is 65, then what is the mark of the 7th student? Okay, the 7th student is being repeated in both the times, so that is why it has been asked. Okay, 13 students have an average of 67, 7 students is 61, the next 7 is equal to 65. Okay, if I do simple multiplications, 13 sevens are 91, 13 6 are 78. Yeah, 13 6 are 78, 78 plus 9 is 87, 87, 871 is the total sum here. This is 7, this is 427. Yeah, 7 1s are 7, 7 6 are 42, and plus plus 7 5 is 35, 7 6 are 42, 42 plus 3 is 45, 455. Whatever extra is coming over here, which is beyond 871, is the 7th student's score. Okay, so this is going to be 2, and this is going to be another 8. Yeah, we have 8 here, and then we have 882. So the gap between 871 and 882 is the 7th student being counted twice. Okay, the 7th student is being counted twice, so the gap, which is equal to 11, is the actual value of the 7th student. Okay, I'll move on. Average of selected observations is given. Okay, this is just a concept. Let me quickly solve it. The average of three numbers is a plus b plus c is more 2 more than c. Okay, so a plus b plus c, the average of three numbers a plus b plus c is equal to 2 more than c. Okay, this is my first equation. In my second equation, the average of a plus b is 48. That means I can easily say that a plus b, I can easily say that the value of a plus b is nothing but 96. Similarly, in the third equation, it is said that the value of d is 10 less than c. Okay, 10 less than c. 10 less than c. Okay, d is equal to 10 less than c. Then the average of c and d is, okay, the average of c and d is, I know we need four equations, four variables, but we have three equations, but we already have the value of two variables with us, so we'll quickly put them in. Okay, so through these two equations we'll get the value of c. The value of c seems to be 96 plus c is equal to 6 plus 3c. Yeah, 96 plus 6c is equal to 6 plus 3c. This gives me 90 and this gives me 2c. So the value of c comes out to be 45. If I have the value of c as 45, I'll quickly put it in here and it would give me the value of d as 35. If the value of c and the value of d is given, I would get my answer as 80. The value of c plus d is equal to 80, which has to be divided by 2 in order to create the average, and the average of c plus d comes out to be 40, which is my final answer. Okay, which is my final answer. Moving on. If the average weight of a plus b plus c is 77, uh, so this is a statement, this is not an if and but. If the average weight of a and b is 68 and that of b and c is 83, then the weight of b is what? Okay, what I can do is I can simply play a very beautiful trick. I can say the weight of a plus b plus c whole upon 3 is 77. So if I bring 3 on the other side, I get the value as 231. Okay, how did I get 231? I did 77 multiplied by 3, which is nothing but 231. So a plus b plus c is equal to 231. If the average weight of b, the average weight of b is 68, a plus b is 68, that means the real weight is 2 8 16, 2 6 12, 136, a plus b. And when checking about b plus c, we get the weight as 83. This means 166. If I add both of them up, I get the value of I get the value of 302. Now this 302 is far away. This 302, I'll tell you what I've done. I've added the two equations. I've done this a plus 2b plus c, and the value of a plus 2b plus c is equal to 302. Now comparing these two equations, if I subtract them, I'll get the value of b out. How do I subtract them? I subtract 302 from 231. What do I find over here? I find out the value of b to be 71, which was the question that was being asked. Okay, which was the question that was being asked. Moving on. Deviation method, I've already taught you the deviation method. Let me quickly take you to the first slide. Okay, I'm at slide number 54. This is the assumption of mean, new entry, finding the center. Okay, also the assumption of mean, I talked about deviation over here. Just see, I talked about deviation over here. So I've already taught you this method. I've already taught you this method. Need not worry about it. Okay, we were at slide number 54. Here is 54. The average age of a number of people in a group was calculated as 35 years, which was 2.5 years more than the correct average, as there was an error in the recording of the age of two persons as 38.5 and 40 years instead of 29 years and 22 years. So their original age was 29 and 22. Let me quickly sum them up, which would give me the value of 51 years. Okay, this was their OG, okay, original age. And what was recorded? The thing that was recorded was 38.5 and 40 years. Yeah, this is 40. We get zero point 0.5 and 8, and this is 78.5. So the gap which I see is equal to, this is zero point 0.5, this is 7, and this is 27. So the gap which I see is that of 27.5. This 27.5 gap was created, this kg gap was created, and the average came out to be 2.5 kg more. Okay, this was a positive gap that was created, and the average which came out was 2.5 kgs more. The reason for the 2.5 kg average, which was spread across all the people, was because of the faulty calculation. The faulty calculation said 27.5 extra kgs. So if I divide 27.5 by 2.5, what I get is 11. That means 11 people were affected. Okay, that means 11 people were affected, and this is the answer that I'm looking for. So the number of people in the group were 11. Okay, sorted. Moving on. The average of 8 numbers is 44. The average of the first 3 numbers is 50. The average of the next 2 numbers is 52. If the sixth number is 6 and 8 less than the seventh and the eighth number respectively, then what is the value of the eighth number? Okay, this is a very interesting question. It comes almost every alternate year. Okay, we have the value of n over here, and we have the value of average over here. Okay, I'll quickly create divisions so that things become easier for you. For n being 8, the average is 44. The average of first 3, okay, I'll write first here. For the average of first 3, it is that of 50. The average of next two, the average of next two is 52. Now there are three numbers left. There are three numbers left. The three numbers are 6th, 7th, and 8th. Okay, these are the three numbers that are left. If the sixth number is 6 less than and 8th less than the 7th and the 8th number respectively, let's assume the sixth number is x. Okay, sixth number is 6 less than the 7th. This means this is, if I add 6 to it, I'll reach the 7th number. And if I add 8 to it, then I would reach the 8th number respectively. Okay, I will reach the 8th number respectively. So this is the main catch. This is the main catch. Now what you can do is you can apply simple multiplication. 8 fours are 32. Yeah, 8 fours are 32 and 8 fours are 32 again. This is 352. This calls up for 150 and this calls up for 104. The difference which I can find by adding 150 and 104 is 254, and I already have 352 over here. That means for the 6th, 7th, and 8th observation, all I would be left with is 98. Okay, 98 would be the sum of all the three observations together because they are the only ones that are left. So this means 3x plus 14, and 14 would go here, this would give 4. 14 would go here, this would give 4, and this would give me an 8. 84 is equal to 3x. I'll get 3x ones are 3 twos are 3 eights are. So the value of x is equal to 28. Now it's asking me to give the value of the eighth number, which is equal to x plus 8. X plus 8 calls for 28 plus 8, which is equal to 36. Okay, 28 plus 8, which is equal to 36. In such questions, I could have I could have taught you the deviation method as well, but that is a little more mind-boggling. So it's better that you learn the most basic concepts which can be applied very easily in the examination. Okay, moving on. The allegation method. We've already done it. Okay, we've already done it. We'll still quickly do it one more time. We have 700 men and we have 300 women. I can quickly take a ratio of this and say that they are 7 is to 3 in number. The average wage is equal to 450 per day. Man is getting 50 more than that of a woman. Okay, it's getting X and it is getting 50 more. Then what is the wage of the woman? What is the wage of the woman? I'll quickly check. Solve it with the help of allegation. 450 minus X is the wage of men, and X minus 400 is the wages of women. So according to the question, 450 minus X whole divided by X minus 400 is equal to 7 upon 3. I'll quickly solve it. This is 1350 minus 3x is equal to 7x minus 2800. So 3x becomes 10x minus 2800 goes here, becomes plus 2800. So we have a 0 and a 5. Then we have an 11 with us. Yep, and 4150. 4150. With the help of this, we get the value of x is equal to 415. The daily wage of a woman is equal to 415 rupees because we had assumed that the wage of a woman is equal to x. Okay, this was the allegation method that was used. I'll quickly see what needs to be done here as well. The average height of 40 articles of 40 sticks is 156. Some sticks of average height 162 are taken out. If the new average height is 150, then how many sticks are remaining? Okay, how many sticks are remaining? So for 40, the average height was 156. 6. Let's say X sticks are taken out and they were 162 centimeters each. Whatever is left behind, 40 minus X, has the new average height as 150. As the new average height as 150. Okay. So I'll see what needs to be done. Let's say 156 was the average height. Yeah. If 162 was X in number and 150 was 40 minus X in number. Yeah. I hope we have made it very clear. There is a plus 6 over here and there is a minus 6 over here. And this entire balance seems to be very much balanced. This means that 40 upon 2 would be the answer, which is equal to 20. So 20 is the answer. But I'll still solve it for you. I'll still solve it for you. How would I do that? I would say that 40 multiplied by 156 is equal to x multiplied by 162 plus 40 minus x multiplied by 150. Okay, this is the long form which I'm doing. I'll quickly multiply it by 40. 4 6 are 24, 4 5 are 20. This is 22. 22, 4 ones are 4, and 5 and 6. 6240 is equal to 162x plus 15 fours are 60. This is going to be 6000 minus 150x. This leaves me with 12x, which is equal to 240, and the value of x comes out to be 20. Okay, so the balance which I could see on the top side of the question was correct, and both of the sticks are of the same number. Okay, the bigger sticks and the smaller sticks, they are of the same number and they are 20 each. All right, moving on. Moving on. Now we'll be using, like, just two questions are left, so we'll be using the basic formula. The average weight of A, B, C, D is 33 kgs. C is 12 kg lighter than A, while B is 6 kg heavier than C. D's weight is 10 kg less than that of C. Okay, I'll quickly try to figure out a way in which I can solve this question. Okay, B is 6 kg heavier than C. Okay, so B is x kg, 6 kg heavier than C. D's weight is 10 kg less than that of C. So this is D minus 10. Okay, x minus 10. And C is 12 kgs lighter than A. C is 12 kgs lighter than A. This means A is 12 kgs heavier than C. So we have all of them in a single variable, that is x. And we already have the average weight. That means A plus B plus C plus D. We already have 33 over here. So 33 into 4, 4 3s are 12. This would become 132. Okay, so the sum is already with us. We have the entire equation available to us. After finding out the value of x, we need to find out the average of A and D. I'll quickly try to find out the value of x from here. I have 4x with me. 4x with 18 and minus 10 is plus 8 is equal to 132. This plus 8 would go here and this would create 126, and this 126 would have 4x here. No, this is not getting. No, this is going to be 124, not 126. Yep. 4 ones are 4, 4 threes are 12, 4 ones are 4. So the value of x comes out to be 31. If I do that, I'll find out the value of A, or the average of A. Sorry, the weight of A, which is 31 plus 12, which is equal to 43, and x minus 10, which is equal to 21. I have the weight of both of them. This would give me 4 and this would give me 6. 64 divided by 2 is 32, and 32 is my answer. Okay, 32 is my answer. I'm satisfied with it. Moving on. Three numbers are such that if the average of any two of them is added to the third number, their sums obtained are this, this, and this. The average of the original three numbers need to be found out. I have A plus B by 2 plus C is equal to 168. Similarly, for all the other three, A plus C by 2 plus B is equal to 174. And finally, B plus C by 2 plus A being equal to 180. What is the average of the original three? If I add all of them up, I would get that A plus B plus C. The representation of B is equal to 1, half, and half. That means there is a 2. The representation of A is half, half, and 1, that is 2. The representation of C is half, half, and 1, that is 2. So 2 times A plus B plus C is equal to the sum of the entire equation. The sum of the entire equation comes out to be, this is a 2 and a 1 with me. I have 8 plus 8 is 16, 16 plus 6 is 22. I have a 2 with me. This comes out to be 522. Now I need to find out A plus B plus C upon 3. So I'll first take the 2 here. A plus B plus C. The value of A plus B plus C comes out to be 261. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 261. So I have A plus B plus C over here. Now I need to find out the value of A plus B plus C whole upon 6, which is equal to, no, whole upon 3. Okay, that is the average. Whole upon 3, which is 261 upon 3. 3 8s are 24, 3 7s are 21. So we have 87 available with us, which is the average value. Okay, which is the final average value. I hope that is very clear. I'll take you back to the first slide and tell you the reality of this. Tell you the reality of this entire concept, this entire chapter. The reality is simple. The first one, that mean has to be assumed. Okay, the mean has to be assumed at many places. Once that is done, then we follow the deviation method to find out what is the actual mean. Then you have to find out the center whenever you get question of series. Okay, you have to split the entire series into two equal parts, and if you have a number in the center, then that is the mean. If you don't have the number in the center, you have to find out the mean of the two corner terms. Then new entry or exit, this has been used extensively. This has been used extensively, and this is going to save you from multiple issues. Trust me, when I learned this method of solving it, new entry new exit method, that was the time average chapter became extremely easy for me. Okay, that is the time when the average chapter became extremely easy for me. So I would recommend you to watch this video multiple times, maybe two times, make notes of your own, and then you'll be able to solve all the questions, because we've covered all the types of questions which have come. Okay, I think we're good to go. Thank you.